This tutorial is going to walk you through creating a custom shaped bezel. You can create a bezel in any shape that you want. You simply draw a closed curve in the shape of that bezel. We'd imagine you might like to use the place background bitmap and place a picture of an opal or another custom shaped stone in the viewports, and then simply trace it with one of your curve tools. So we're going to represent that just using the interp curve as though we had traced some kind of custom shaped gem. So I'm going to start with a new layer color. We'll go to user 01. I'm going to go to the curve menu and select the interp curve tool. And working in the looking down viewport, I'm just going to draw a closed curve. It's a good thing to draw this right onto the grid. That way you know that it's flat or planar. This needs to be a planar or flat curve that looks perfectly like a straight line when viewed from the side. So that is one important rule. I'm going to put this in a job bag for us. Okay, once you have a closed planar curve, we're going to take a look at the seam point of this curve, or the place where it starts and stops. Now, if you remember, I started here as I began placing the points in the interp curve and ended back where I started. Might have been up here somewhere. So we'll take a look at where that curve starts and ends using the adjust closed curve seam point. And that's in the second row of buttons, the second set here in the second row. When you select that button, it's going to ask you to select closed curves for seam adjustment. So click on the curve and press enter when done. So press enter. And you'll see the start and end point. That's where I had originally started and ended drawing that curve. Every closed curve has a place where it has to start and end from having drawn it. Okay. However, in order to properly create the bezel, we want this point to be located about the 3 o'clock position on the curve. So to move this seam point, we click on the base of the arrow and we drag it to the location we want to place it, about the 3 o'clock location on the curve. Left click again to release the arrow. Now this needs to be pointing in a clockwise direction. Right now it's counterclockwise. If it's not clockwise, then our bezel is going to come out upside down. So as you approach the other side of this white arrow, actually either side of the white arrow, you'll see its little counterpart, this little red arrow appear. When you see that red arrow, click it, and the white arrow will be reversed. Now move your cursor away because you don't need to change it again, and the other arrow pointing the other direction will disappear. Again, just to show you that process, when you have the incorrect arrow going in the counterclockwise direction, simply approach it with the cursor. When you see the correct arrow appear, left click once, and the white arrow will be switched. You'll still see the other arrow, but just simply move away from it with your cursor, back away slowly, and you'll see only the correct arrow remaining. Now press enter to keep your changes. Before going into the bezel builder, we're going to select this curve and we're going to tell it, we're going to make it active with a matrix, and that's in the tools menu, the profile tool. So start this tool up and you'll see the builder appear in the builder menu area. Select the curve and input it into the curve inbox. Now all the handles are added to that curve, and right here is the location of the base of the curve. It's fine, you don't need to adjust it now with these angles because presumably you already drew it to the correct size. So just press enter. You sort of awoken the curve and told it it's a curve. If we hadn't done that, it's possible also to select the curve, press F6, and choose MSR. Even before we put it into this builder, you'll get all the handles, so any closed curve can be made into a profile using this tool. Simply press enter to end the command and turn off the handles. And once it has those handles attached to it one time, it's all ready to be made into a bezel. So into the settings menu, go into the bezel builder. Now you have the gem curve option. This is when you can use a curve. As long as it was made into a profile using MSR, it's all ready to go into this inbox. Select your curve and click in. And you'll see the bezel appear on it. Sometimes it appears really, really tall like this one, and that's fine. We'll just raise the height up. And you can make any changes you want to with this. You can click on the profile shape and choose a new profile. That way, if you had a custom shaped opal that you wanted to create a bezel for, you are all set, and all the handles work just the way they do if it were on a gem. So press enter. The other really cool thing about this curve is it can now be used in operations such as match attributes and save styles. So this bezel is saved with this curve the same way it's saved with a gem during your match attributes session. So in the gems menu, we can go to save styles or match attributes, the objects to place styles sheet on, are the curve. Enter the objects to take the style sheet from. If you click on the curve, you'll notice that it has the bezel style saved with it. And that's all I wanted to show you. So if you wanted another gem in your design to have the same bezel, if you wanted to save this bezel style, select objects to save style from. There's your curve, there's your bezel, save styles. So it's all ready to go with the other history related aspects of this program.